You doing? This is Ruben once again with Philosophy. If you liked any of my past videos, please subscribe. Please like the video. Please comment. It really shows your support and really shows that this movement it's helping at least one person. Today I want to talk about caring, but not that much. At times, most times, we put too much emphasis on the things that happen in our lives, especially when it comes to challenges. We put too much emphasis on it. There's the saying, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. We make mountains out of molehills. We emphasize on things too much. We make them a big deal. And that causes stress, anxiety, and if it keeps going on a consistent and regular basis, it can cause depression. Once it starts forming into habits, it will cause depression. It will just make your life not that good. And it will prevent you from going after your dreams, going after your desires, and feeling good while working on your desires. Because feeling good, as we've talked about before, is essence, is key to making which one happen. Because when you're feeling good, that's that's the energy that's needed for you to move forward and achieve your dreams and achieve your goals. We care too much. We put too much emphasis. We care a little bit too much. We have a challenge, maybe it's in our health. We care a little bit too much to the point that we try to avoid fear. When we care too much, fear rises, thus, we try to avoid it. And that is very bad. In the book of Job, in the biblical scripture, in the Bible, in the book of Job, when all these bad things start happening to Job, or quote bad things, he says, what I have feared has come upon me. Fear is the dream destroyer. Fear kills your dreams, kills your motivation, kills your passion in incredible ways. Fear is the reason why you don't move forward, why you're not at the position that you should be. If you're struggling through life in big major ways, you're struggling financially, you're struggling in your family, you're struggling in your work, you're struggling emotionally, you have a lot of fear. You're living in like a squirrel. You're trying to avoid pain. That's really what it comes down to. You're trying to avoid pain. If again we could look back at biblical scripture, and the reason I point a lot of biblical scripture is because I come from a Christian background and Christianity background. My family was Catholic, and many of my friends are Christians, and that's the religion that I'm most familiar with, and I've studied a lot, and and also I take that into reference because that's sort of like an ancient text that I could show you how what I'm talking about is not something new. It's been going on and has been talked about for generations, and how these are universal laws. And really, if you look at any ancient text or any spiritual text or religious text, it talks about the same. If you look at the teachings of the Buddha, if you look at the Quran, if you look at the Torah from the Jewish religion, if you look at Chinese texts, ancient texts, the ancient South American teachings, Aztec Mayan teaching, all over the world. All these concepts are similar, and the stories sort of always match up. And the reason is because concepts like these are universal, and this is how life works. So if I make Christian references, know that the only reason I do it is, for one, because I'm familiar with it, and two, I use it as an ancient reference, so you could know that I'm not just speaking things out. It's something that has gone on through history. It's been proven to work. And if you're an atheist or if you're another religion, please don't be offended. It's not intention. If I was raised Muslim, I would have been talking about the Quran. I would have made reference there. If I was, raised in the East and raised on Buddhist teaching, I would be talking about that and so on. It's just I show that as a reference. So I'm familiar with it, and it's an ancient reference that I could talk to you guys about. So, yeah, if we look at biblical scripture, it talks about how basically the people who, after passing away in this life, the ones that will go to hell, in other words, go to that other place other than heaven. Uh, in a passage, it talks about how all these people will go, and all these people who have committed these sins. And it has adultery, it has thieves, it has blasphemous. But I found it very interesting how it talks about the first group that will go there, that will lose his chance of going to heaven. It's the fearful ones. So being fearful, and if we're talking about biblical scripture, that is the most judgmental, that is the most punishment, the fearful ones, more than the people who commit adultery, more than the people who commit murder, more than the people who are thieves, more than the people who are blasphemous, and so on. And I found that very interesting in the biblical scripture, how the first group who will be judged first and with its highest punishment, it's the fearful ones, those with fear. And the reason, and fear is, it's horrible, is because fear is the main thing that stops you from reaching success and reaching what you want in life. Thus, fear will transmit and to you in caring too much. Because the reason you care too much is not that you care, it's that you have a fear of loss. And if we go to its core, you really don't have a fear of loss. It's really you trying to avoid pain. You're trying to avoid pain. You know, in Jesus in the biblical scripture, he when he would when he was in the desert, and he was tempted by Satan. The biblical scripture says that he didn't resist. He didn't resist Satan. You know, he allowed, in quote, Satan to tempt him, but he wasn't moved by it. Almost as if he was firm. While going in the desert where he was dehydrated and hungry, yet he was firm. And he didn't resist it. He was firm, and he allowed him to keep on with his temptation towards Jesus. And it talks about he didn't resist him. He confronted what was in front of him. When the passages where he would come in, to people who were demon possessed, he talked about confronting those demons, confronting them, not being fearful, but confronting them and knowing that the kingdom of heaven is in you. There's a great quote in the Bible that says, "Greater is He that's in you," which is God, God's in you, "than he that is of the world," which is the devil. Greater is He that's in you than he that is of the world. And it talks about how you're an ambassador for Christ, and how, you know, you could just with faith, tell a demon to leave, and he'll leave and be thrown into the lake of fire, and so on. Fear is a big thing because it causes, like I said, you caring too much. When you have a dream, you have to care, but not that much. In other words, you want that dream to come true, and you work towards making that dream come true, but you don't just drown and fall yourself in it, and just be obsessed in the wrong way by it. When you have a dream, you care, but not that much. Put out your desire to God or the universe, then you let it go. Because when you care too much, guess what's going to happen? Doubt will creep in. Thus, doubt will counteract the good feeling, the good vibration that you put out, and thus is not bringing it into fruition, into your life. It's like hitting a car or hitting gas on a car, and you're moving, but then you hit the brake at the same time. It's like it's trying to go, but it doesn't. It's a brake. That's how the counteraction vibrations go with. So that's why you have to have belief and no doubt. When you have belief and no doubt, then your dream will come true. And that's why you have to care, but not that much. All the challenges you have in life, there's challenges in your life. Enjoy the challenges. Know that something good will come out of it. It always does. Look at your past life experiences where you thought you wouldn't get out of this hole. You were so in deep, you thought that was it. But you look at you. Things are never as bad as they seem, and they're never as good as they seem. So remember that. That's why you have to care, but not that much. Enjoy the goodness of life. Take a break. Eat that good food, that great food that you love every now and then. Go drink a soda, have a drink, or have a cigar, or smoke cigarettes is cigarette. Enjoy the cake, a cup of coffee. Go to the theater, take your mind off. Don't put too much emphasis on I have to get success in this one. I'm gonna focus 24/7. No, take life lightly. Take life lightly, because that's what life is. It's about lightness. It's about enjoying it. You don't have to focus and watch a video at all times. That's why I literally say always, you have to follow the system of books, audios, events, relationships, and receiving and giving recognition. Do it on a regular basis. But sometimes, hey, look, sometimes you may be overwhelmed, or you just may not feel like it. You most likely you need a rest, because you're becoming pessimist. When you become pessimist, you're tired, or you're hungry, or you're both. Right? So take a break, rest, go and eat something that you like, enjoyable. Life is not always about work. If you look at the autobiography of Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men who ever lived. He started U.S. Steel. In these days and age, you can't build a company that big like the one he had. Virtually impossible with all the regulations that are on now. But he started U.S. Steel, and it was during the railroads and all that. So he became the richest man on earth, over $300 billion. And in that time, they didn't have the gadgets we have now. They didn't have the smartphones, the iPads, the laptops, the computers, and this and that. So what they did was really around technology. Right? And look at Andrew Carnegie's life, his schedule, how it would look like. Here's the richest man on earth, and this was his schedule. He would go into the office around 8 or 9, take an hour and a half lunch, and then by 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock, he will go home. And during the summer, he would take 3 months off and go to Scotland. This is a man who really didn't do much work. He took life lightly, yet he became the richest man on planet Earth. See? And I could point this out even in biblical scripture. Jesus talked about he was doing a sermon on top of a mountain. He had a crowd gathered around him. He talked about, don't worry about tomorrow. He said, don't worry about tomorrow. Your Father, God, feeds and clothes the birds of the air, and clothes and feeds the lilies of the ground. How much more important are you to Him? How much more valuable are you to Him that He wouldn't do that to you? He feeds the birds of the air, and He clothes and feeds the lilies of the ground. And they don't sow, nor they reap. Basically, they just reap. They don't even sow. You know how supposedly you have to sow for you to reap. Well, Jesus talked about how the birds in the air will sow reap, the lilies of the ground will sow reap. Yet they get fed and they get clothed. How much more important are you? Are you not more valuable than the birds or the lilies to God? Of course you are. So how much more blessings wouldn't He just give to you? That's a passage from the Bible. I mean, this goes on. This has been going on through centuries, but we've been misinformed, and we've misinformed information that has come to us. See, people think that effort is the key to success. You have to work. Yes, taking action and working is part of success, but when you're doing it from the sense of I have to do it, and you're doing it even when you don't feel like doing it, that's bad, and you won't reach success. You may reach a little bit of success, but not the type of success you want. You have to feel good, like you want to do it. That is why, if you look at many of the super successful people, if you look at their interviews, if you look at their biographies and autobiographies, they always talk about how that the reason they became super successful in whatever their profession is because they had a passion for it and they loved it. Steve Jobs talked about this a lot. He talked about how the keys to success is you have to love what you do, because when challenges come about, which they will, you just don't quit. If you don't love doing it, yes, you quit because you're sane. That's what Steve Jobs said. You'll quit because you're sane. But if you love doing it, you will stick through the challenges because you love doing it. You love being in the office. You love to come in early and leave late. And it's not a hassle. You're not struggling. You're not sacrificing. See, that's the key. That's what you have. That's why you have to love what you do. You know, maybe you have a, maybe you think that right because of what you see on TV, what society says is good. Maybe you think that being an actor is successful, being an athlete is successful, being a music artist is successful, or being this and that. And you may be going after that, and you don't see that much success, and you've been struggling for a while. Or maybe that is not your passion. Maybe your passion is to be a writer. Maybe your passion is to create, I don't know, mattresses. Maybe you're really good at painting. What's your passion? We all have gifts. So the gifts we need to focus on. That's why you have to care, but not that much. Take life lightly. Don't think life is all about working, about reaching goals and dreams. Take life, enjoy it. Enjoy the cake. Enjoy that sweet piece of Danish. Enjoy the cheesy lasagna. Enjoy those enchiladas. Enjoy those fajitas. Get a margarita or two or three. Take life lightly. Enjoy. Have a cigar. Have a cigarette. Take a break. Watch some TV if that's what you like to do. Go and pop in your favorite DVD from your favorite TV show and watch. Don't take life too seriously. Because when you care too much, not only will you not live long, but you live a miserable existence. If you lost something, if you got a divorce, if you just broke up from a relationship you have, sure you're gonna feel bad for a couple of days or whatnot, but don't go on. Like, life is beautiful. Move on. Take life lightly. It's okay. It's okay for you to have broken up. It's okay for you to lose your home if you're on the verge of losing it. It's okay if you fall bankruptcy. Think about it. You start with a fresh slate. Many successful people file for bankruptcy. Of course, look at your options first. I would suggest you watch my video on TFT, Thoughtful Therapy, how to reduce stress, anxiety, or phobias, or addictions you may have. Do some tapping. Do some tapping. Clear the negative emotions you have within you, and then look at your options more clearly. See if there are other options that find bankruptcy. But if you absolutely have to, if you don't see all the way out, it's okay. It's okay. You'll start with a fresh slate. It's okay if you lose your house. It's okay if you lose your car. You'll start with a fresh slate. Take life lightly, because the best is yet to come. The future's always bright because now you know more. The future is always better than the past because from your past you learn experience, you got experience, you learn lessons. Thus your future's always bright because now you know more. If you were divorced before and you're about to be divorced again, it's okay. Don't be as hurtful because now you know more. Maybe the next relationship will be better. Maybe you might file for divorce again. It's okay. Because it only gets better and better. If you look at the picture from the outside and you don't know the details, which you're the only person in God who knows the details, other people look at it and say, "Oh my God, he's filed for divorce every time. Oh my God, it's bad." But they don't know. They don't know that every single time. Maybe you were not so blessed as far as relationship, but you want to. Well, the universal God is getting you there. Maybe you have to go through several relationships for you to really key in and find the right person. Take life lightly and enjoy life because it's enjoyable. It's really good. It's a very scrumptious experience in life. Take the bitterness, saying that goes, everything in the end turns out great, turns out fine. In the end, everything turns out fine. And if it doesn't, it's because it's not the end. In the end, everything will turn out fine. And if it doesn't, it just means that it's not the end. You know, Les Brown, the great motivational speaker, says a lot in his speeches. He says, it's not over until you win. It's not over until you win. And yeah, it's true. It's not over until you win. Maybe you're going into some court things and you're battling something. Maybe you're battling a challenge with your health or whatever. Remember, it's not over until you win. Until you win. You have to win. You're God's greatest creation. You're so, if you could understand, just have a quick realization of how powerful and beautiful and great you are, you don't fear. You realize that winning is your nature. You have to win. You must win. That's the law. It's like the law of gravity. No matter how much you believe that you may fly, you may float, if you get on top of this house or a building, you fall off, you're gonna hit the ground. I don't care how much you believe this. The same thing here. You have to win. I don't care how much doubt you may have or what you've been through. At the end, you have to win. You must win. It's the law. That's how great and beautiful and powerful you are. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment, please subscribe, please like the video. And I'll see you guys next time.